Everyone's panicking about AI taking their jobs and even ruining their careers. We call it AI anxiety. But the real fear is not about AI itself. The rules just changed. So I no longer know how to play the game. So everyone's talking about AI right now, and most of the conversations go something like this. AI is going to take all of our jobs. Nobody knows what we're going to do. The economy is going to collapse. Or the opposite, we will never have to work again. So how will we get paid? There's a sense of helplessness in all of this. I have no control of any of these things, right? Here's what I think people are really scared of, though. I don't think it's the AI. Matter of fact, it's not AI. It's not the technology. It's just this. The rules just changed. And you're the last person to know. At least it feels like that, right? So let's think about this and take this apart a little bit and look at it realistically instead of just about a technology. Because the other thing that's interesting here is the exact feeling has happened before. Not once, over and over, all through history. But let's just look at some of the patterns. Let me show you some of the patterns. For instance, in the 1920s, people were terrified of what? The assembly line. The factory was going to take all the jobs. The skilled craftspeople were going to be worthless. Everything was changing. The world was ending. Some of that was true. Other things happened. Then in the 1960s, it was automation. Again, a different kind of automation. Robots, computers, machines are taking over. People won't be needed anymore. In the 1990s, it was outsourcing. Your job was going to India, to Mexico. Everything is being shipped offshore. The country is falling apart. Look back at the media for all these things. You'll see fear. In the 2000s, we had it again with some financial crisis. The whole system was broke. We were all doomed. In COVID, remember that? Remember the fear, everything falling apart, the world never coming back again? More recently, it's been the gig economy was killing job security. Now, it's AI. Each time, different villain, same anxiety. Right? And that's what really is going on here is I'm looking out there. There's people that are in very high anxiety, angry. Here's the thing. Some of those fears in the past had some truth in them. For instance, jobs did change. The economy did shift every single time. But the people who panicked, a lot of them didn't adapt. Most of them waited. They waited for the government to fix it. They waited for the old system to come back. They waited for someone to tell them what to do. And the people who didn't panic, who looked at the chaos and said, okay, what's actually changing? Those people moved. They learned a new game. Not because they were necessarily smarter. Many of them weren't. But because they didn't freeze. So here's what's actually going on under all this AI. It's not about AI specifically. Right? This is just technology. It's about something that happened to you a long time ago. In the book, Resumes Are Worthless, I talk about this concept. I wrote about it. You had 12 years of school. You learn to follow instructions. You learn to get good grades, respect authority, conform to some level. Then 4 more years of college, right? It's the same thing disguised as freedom. You got a syllabus, you followed it, you took the test, you got the grade, and then you graduated thinking, I did everything right. Now someone is supposed to tell me what to do and give me money in exchange. But that's not how the real world works. It's never been how it works. It happens to work out sometimes, but that's not what's really going on. The real world changes the rules all the time, not out of meanness, but it doesn't ask for permission. The government doesn't come and announce it. Usually the government's behind timeline, and so they can't announce it because they don't see it coming themselves. Your company doesn't warn you. The market just shifts. Every time the market shifts, and suddenly the thing that you were trained to do is not as valuable as it once was. So what do? You look around for something to blame. The system, the government, technology, your boss, the economy. We blame all of these things. Isn't that what's happening? Look at the anger that we see as these commencement speakers are doing in the spring graduation. And whenever the word AI is mentioned and they start talking about it, there's just anger, there's boos. But they're not really angry at the speaker. And they're not really angry at AI. But it's the villain. And we need a villain because looking inward is scary. Because looking inward means asking, what don't I understand here? What skills do I need? What am I not seeing? And that's harder than just panicking. This is why people, as a whole, lean toward victimhood. The system is rigged against me. It feels safer than admitting I was trained to wait for instructions. I don't know how to figure out the game myself. When you start realizing you were trained to be the robot in the automation and your model is no longer valid, it's time to get a new model. That's vulnerable. That's real. But here's what's also true. In every error, in all these examples I just talked about, in every one of these transitions, some people saw it coming or reacted differently. They didn't panic, not because they were lucky, because they learned to ask different questions. They didn't ask, is my job safe? They ask, what's actually changing? What problems are being created? Who needs what right now? And they moved toward that. Not because they were smarter. A lot of them weren't. But they were more curious instead of being afraid. So right now, where we are today with AI, yes, some jobs will change. Some skills will become less valuable or totally obsolete. Yes, the economy will shift. All of that is true. It's already happening. But that's not new. That's what happens every 10 to 15 years. It happens because of technology. It happens because of society. It happens just because things happen, right? COVID was none of these. Financial crisis is none of these. But the only difference is you see it this time. Instead of it creeping up on you slowly, you see it coming. And maybe that's because we have better data. I don't know. But we've been hearing about it and it's coming very fast. But that's actually an advantage. Here's the thing. Nobody says out loud. You've been trained your whole life to wait for instructions. You wait for someone to tell you you are safe. You wait for the system to be fair, and you're still waiting. And you're waiting, and while you're waiting, some people are learning. Some people are asking, what's actually happening? What can I do? How can I get valuable in this new thing? Those people aren't panicking about AI. They're already adapting. So this is a choice. It's not whether the world changes, it will. Your job is going to go away. I don't care what it is. It's going to change. It's really about whether you wait for someone to tell you you're okay or whether you get curious. Be curious, learn, grow, add value in a new way. If you're learning to think like a business owner about your career, which is what we're doing here, subscribe to the Company of One podcast. New episodes drop out every week here on YouTube and everywhere you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the other channels. That's the Company of One, one episode at a time.